Good evening. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Good evening, and it's 7 o'clock, and I see that's our start time. While I get Rob to wind down the minstrels this evening, I'll say good evening and thank you for joining Expedia Cruises as we explore the world with peace of mind. My name is Steve McInnes. Welcome to day one. We're just beginning our journey today. Our first stop is Spain and Portugal. And I'm very happy to say that our team leader is Hilary Brown of Globus. You'll meet Hilary in just a moment. We're all eager to get started, but first I'd love to give you a quick overview of our itinerary. Hilary is about to share her presentation with us, and then she'll answer any questions that you may have. If you have to leave us after Hilary's presentation, we understand, and we'd like to thank you for attending. But if you're able to stay with us a little bit longer, we have a short video featuring 3 of our consultants who have traveled recently. We thought you might appreciate hearing what recent travel was like for them. They too will be available for questions after the presentation. So there's lots to see, do, and talk about, and we're all eager to get started, but let's cover a few of the ground rules first. If you experience technical difficulties, often the easiest and fastest thing to do is simply exit the webinar and log back in again. Don't worry if you missed anything. We're recording the webinar and we'd be happy to forward it to you. If you want to ask a question, please use the chat feature. It's located at the bottom center of your screen, or press the Alt button and the H key simultaneously, and the chat screen should show up. And of course, for any questions that are more specific in nature, your consultant's always available to help you. All right, I think that's everything. Let me tell you a little bit about Hilary. Hillary Brown is a business development manager for Globus Family of Brands in Toronto, GTA, and East. She comes from a travel industry background with over 28 years of experience within the travel industry. Hillary has traveled to over 35 countries, many of which she experienced with Globus, Cosmos, Monograms, and Avalon Waterways in the last 17 years. Hillary, thanks very much for joining us tonight. I'll turn the presentation over to you.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening. It's a beautiful night outside to, sit, explore, and enjoy what we have to offer with Portugal today. And I think that you were seeing it a little bit earlier. Where would you take those footsteps in the beautiful sands of Portugal? So we're just going to get started. Today we're going to speak about Globus, what Globus Family of Brands has to offer. And then later in the presentation, we're going to speak a little bit about Avalon Waterways. And again, thank you everyone for joining myself and Expedia Cruises for this evening. And again, we want you to travel the world with confidence. And for myself, and I'm sure yourself, we haven't been on a plane in 20 months. I mean, it's been a long time at home. We have lots to explore in our backyard, but it's time to really go out and see the world. The world has missed us just as much as we have missed them. So again, thank you. My name is Hillary Brown. I'm the Business Development Manager here on behalf of the Globus Family of Brands. We have quite a few destinations that I'm going to share with you and go a little bit more into depth with the tours. We have our Globus product. Again, I'll explain which is our Globus product. And we have our Portugal in depth. We have our highlights of Spain and Portugal. We also have a new brand again, which I'm going to go into the next couple of slides as well, which is Portugal by Design, Rocks of Rhythm. And then we have our Escapes program by Globus, which is our Portuguese escape. So let me just give you a little bit of background about why Globus. Well, number one, we're a superior first-class product, centrally located host, first touring. We've been in the business for 92 years. We have 4 brands under our belt. We have our Globus product, which is, as I mentioned, is our first-class coach touring. We have our Cosmos, which is our value pack coach touring. We have our Monograms, which is our fully independent travel product. And then we also have our Avalon River Cruising. So we do have a wide support of brands under our belt. As I mentioned, we've been in the business for 92 years. And we also have our peace of mind policy, which again, I'm going to explain in a little bit further at the end of the presentation. And of course, the variety of destinations that we have to offer with Spain and Portugal. And of course, there's always choices and ways to explore with our choice touring, which I had mentioned we're going to talk about in a little bit later. I also want to let you know, you are dealing with, when we're speaking to Expedia Cruises, they are a Canadian office and they are also working with us as a Canadian office. We at Globus Family of Brands, we are Toronto based. We have 35 offices worldwide. However, we are dealing with a Toronto based office. Everything is Canadian dollars, priced in Canadian dollars. You are paying in Canadian dollars. Promos are in Canadian dollars. Everything is Canadian dollars. There's no surprises there. Well, with our wide variety of product, we have over 212 vacations across 67 countries. We have a wide variety of product over North America, South America, Middle East, and of course, Europe, which we're going to speak about today with our Portugal and Spain product. Globus is there, it's empty nesters, retired couples. It's great for groups as well as multi-generations. We're finding that a lot more families are traveling together. They're traveling in their own bubble now. So again, it's families, it's the minimum age is age 5. So it's great for families and groups as well. So let's just talk about why travel with Globus to Portugal. Well, number one is that our transportation is included, and you have the ability to also include air. We're also with the accommodations, it's superior first-class product, centrally located hotels. And of course, I'm going to go in the next couple of slides as to what's included, the guidance, the sightseeing, and the leisure time as well. So right here is what's included. Our hotels are superior first-class products, centrally located hotels. And we have more included with more experience with the full package. You have to think of that word view versus visit. We use the word visit, which allows us to go inside monuments, inside museums, which normally you would have to pay for. And because we've been in the business for 92 years, we have the VIP access as well, which allows us to go in and gives you more freedom at the end of the day as well. So with our coaches, they are Mercedes coaches. They're a 3-axle coach. Well, Hillary, what does a 3-axle coach mean? It just means that we're 5 meters longer than all the other coaches out there. We have the leg room as well as we also have the hip. When I say that we have the hip room, we have something, it's a little toggle on the seat that you actually can press, and your seat goes into the aisle and gives you that hip room. And about 5 minutes prior to stopping, the tour director will say, okay, now it's time to get nice and cozy with your neighbor. You just press that button and there you are with your neighbor again. Our coaches are also Wi-Fi in North America and Europe, as well as their theater style. So the further back you are, you're going to be higher than, you're never going to be staring at anybody's head. So again, there's benefits to traveling with the Globus Family of Brands with our first class transportation, as well as with the Mercedes coaches as well, so we don't own them, which we lease them, and the average age of their leases is 5 years. So again, that allows us to be more modern contemporary design as well. And just to let you know, our average group size is approximately 36 passengers on our coaches. So again, with the hotels, yes, we use the Metropols, the Sheratons, the Hyatts, but again, we do not focus on chain. We focus on superior first-class products, centrally located hotels. For example, you're looking at the Dos Templares in Tomar. That's not a Metropol, it's not a Sheraton, but however, that is a hotel that is centrally located, superior first-class product, and that is a hotel that we would stay at. As I mentioned, we've been in the business for 92 years. We have the VIP access into the monuments, the museums, which allows us to have more freedom at the end of the day. Yes, you may have to get up a little bit earlier, but again, we are in and out sometimes even before the doors even open. One example is Vatican City. If you ever stood around Vatican City, you're not standing around the building, you're truly standing around the block. We are in and out and on our way to the Colosseum, which allows you more freedom at the end of the day as well. We also understand that you're traveling so far to see so much, and now is the time that we've really missed the world. And as I mentioned, the world has missed us as well. And there's so much to offer and there's so much to see, but there's a lot of culture as well. And we really are trying to bring more culture into the tours. So again, could be having dancing lessons in Buenos Aires, having a champagne in the London Eye, learning how to make a custard cake there, but they're not going to give you the recipe, but they will show you how to make it. But of course, they'll have their little hidden ingredients. But that's something that we're really trying to bring into our culture, is bringing the local favorites as well. And that's included. So this whole package at the end of the day gives you more freedom to do what you want to do that is not included. Every day includes a city tour when it comes to our Globus product. And again, remember that we include inside visits. So let's just go a little bit further. Our tour directors have been in the business for 23 years. They have all the knowledge, and they go through also knowledge training every year. So of course, there's a lot of new protocols in place with restaurants and again, theaters and museums. So our tour directors, day by day, it keeps to be changing. And there's always something new. So again, our tour directors every year need to go through training, as well as our local guides as well. So it's time for you to travel with Globus, and let's just go and dive into where we're going to visit. One of the tours that we have is our Portugal in depth. This is an 11-day trip, round trip from Lisbon. And again, this is really the tour of Portugal that leads you past the rolling olive farm, cork groves, and down winding Moorish alleyways to the country's signature delight. In its coastal villages, the medieval towns, traipse grilled seafood filling the table, sweet pork fills the glass. And of course, you were just listening while you were on just before the presentation, the fado music, which fills the air. So again, this is a wonderful tour with really enjoying for you to enjoy the Portugal with the brightest sights of the country as making a loop from lively Lisbon and back. Another tour that we have is our highlights of Portugal. This is 9 days from Barcelona to Lisbon. And on this 9-day tour of Spain and Portugal, you're going to spend 2 nights in each of the legendary cities spanning from the sparkling blue waters of the Mediterranean Sea to the golden coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Barcelona's distinctive architecture, Madrid's artistic energy, Seville's medieval past, and Lisbon's tiled and cobbled charm await your arrival and exploration. With immersive sightseeing, you're going to drive into the history, culture, and cuisine of each city during the must-see sight, must-taste, and must-hear experiences. From Portugal's sweet red port, again, up until the fado music to Spain's dry Rojo wine, and enjoying the lively flamenco performances. And of course, a new program that we just announced is our choice touring by Globus. And what this is we actually came out with we had a marketing company that went out and asked passengers, what do you want to see when traveling? And really the number one answer was flexibility. So we came out with a program that had flexibility, freedom, and choice. And in that is our is choice touring by Globus. And we have 2 tours that are here. And the great thing about these choice tourings by Globus is it's choice. It's your choice, your way to travel. Excursions are included. You can be on the exact same itinerary as your spouse, your companion, your friend, your neighbor, and have a completely different experience. Portugal is a little gem that should be on everyone's bucket list, the oldest country in Europe, and has all the historic sites, delicious cuisine, natural landscapes to spectacular beaches, and its great climate year-round destinations. Our Portugal by design, and this is an 8-day itinerary of Lisbon and the inland region, including Tomar and Coimbra. Lisbon is an amazing old city with a traditional food market, historic city center, traditional, again, fado music, what we were listening to, enjoying earlier, and the famous yellow tram. Tomar is a charming 12th century town with beautiful castle, medieval church, and Portuguese architecture. In the north, the Coimbra is the former capital with 3 distinct areas to explore in the modern city, the university and the ancient past. This itinerary has 3 choice excursion days that allow you to select from the collection of carefully cultured experiences. So again, you and a companion can have the same complete itinerary and have a completely different experience. So you can see that we start in Lisbon. Tomar and Coimbra is where you're going to have your excursion, your choice of excursions included. Again, you will also have an excursion in Santarém, Donez, but again, and Mafra, but again, you'll always have a choice in the other 2 cities. Another choice by design that we have is our Rock and Rhythm by Portugal. And this is going to allow you, again, a tasting, pedaling, floating. What is your choice that you want to explore Portugal with? So again, this is to spend 3 days in Coimbra, which is a beautiful riverfront city with preserved medieval towns. There's so much to explore with choice touring. We give you many options to choose from. You can indulge in a sweet tooth, again, trying the famous Portuguese tart with its flaky pastry and rich egg custard. I think I'm getting hungry here. That's actually one of my favorite treats. You'll hear that, as I mentioned, you're going to hear the secret recipe. And then, of course, which was created by the Carmelite nuns of the region. But again, they're not going to divulge in the secret, but you will be able to make it and taste it as well. So they are going to hide that one special ingredient. Or you can choose a canal cruise where you can explore the 4 waterways of the city known as Portuguese Venice, followed by lunch in the city center. Or maybe if you're feeling a little bit more active, you can explore the city on a leisurely bike ride that will take you through the main area and along the Tau iconic bridges of Mondego River. The tough part of deciding which activity, what to do, that again, if you can either decide in Portugal or you can decide prior to going to Portugal as well. So again, it's your choice, and maybe you want to see both, and see all the pictures of both. But again, maybe you want your neighbor, spouse, or friend to go and do one of those, and you can do the other. So again, really the new way to tour is the way that you want to tour. So just to keep that in mind as well. And that's choice touring by design. We also have a program called Escapes by Globus. This is our off-season product. This is, from October through to March, all the inclusions of Globus. Again, what I mentioned, superior first-class products, centrally located hotels. Every day includes breakfast. There's some dinners included. Every day includes a sightseeing tour, a city tour that is included. So this is all included. However, it's half the price and half the crowds. It's our off-season product, and this is from October through to March. One of the tours that we have here is our Portuguese Escape, again, from November until January. We have November to December in 2021. There's space still available, and you're looking at approximately $1,300 for this tour, 9-day tour. Or we also have January, if you're looking at going next year, January to March as well. And of course, in the Portuguese Escape, Lisbon, Porto, those are the typical towns and villages in Northwest coastline. There's must-see attractions, including the 16th century monastery, Lisbon's most important landmark. And of course, you can visit the sanctuary of Our Lady of the Rosary in Fatima, a pilgrimage site where appearance of the Virgin Mary were reported by 3 local children in 1917. Or you can savor Portuguese cuisine and wine, and of course, enjoying the wine tasting at one of the local wine cellars in Porto, or you can have an olive oil tasting in Belmont, or you can have tapas with wine at one of the local wineries. So again, this is all included. And if you're ready to travel and you maybe, don't want to think about an all-inclusive, we're finding that a lot of more passengers are ready to travel more exotic destinations versus lying by a beach. We've been, we kind of been stuck in four walls right now, and we really just want to go out and explore and see more that we can. So again, Portuguese Escape is one destination to try as well. So starting in Lisbon and ending in Lisbon as well. And of course, those are those lovely pastries, the custard pastries. And there's definitely benefits to traveling with the Globus family of brands, is that we do all the heavy lifting. Number one priority has always been the health and safety of our passengers. We've just taken that one step further with all the protocols in place and all the health and safety measures in place as well. And of course, you're traveling within your own bubble. And just to let you know as well, speaking about traveling in your own bubble, we also have a program that we have our private touring. You can take any of our European tours, our Portugal tours, our Spain and Portugal tours. And if you want to travel with your own family, you want to travel with your own friends, we have our private touring from 1 to 24 passengers. Also with the tours that I've just mentioned as well, is that, I said the average group size on our coaches were 36. Maybe you're ready to travel with passengers, but 36 may be just a little too much for you at this moment. Again, we have our small group discoveries, which allows you to travel in about approximately 24 passengers. So again, there's lots of opportunities. There's lots of ways to travel when it comes to the Globus family of brands. And of course, our Peace of Mind travel plan, which I'm going to speak to later in the presentation, which allows your booking to be more flexible. And of course, there's lots of promotions going on, and being part of today's presentation, there's even more promos. So just to keep that in mind. So of course, I also want to mention Avalon Waterways, and we are the youngest fleet on the water. Our average age is 8 years. We do not refurbish or rebuild our ships. We only build new ships. And you have to remember that with river cruising, the ships are built the same with width and height. What Avalon Waterways has done is push the walls out to have this open air balcony, 200 square foot stateroom, really letting the outside in. And we've been voted #1 open air balcony for the last 4 years. So we're very proud of having these balconies, these open air balconies, and also having larger staterooms. With the larger staterooms as well means less passengers, more space on board. And of course, when looking at an aerial view of our stateroom right here, you can really see that this is our 11x7 open air balcony. Again, the bed facing the, the view, as I mentioned right here. You got to remember, there's not much to look at when you're staring at a wall. History happened by the waters. And with the bed facing the view, actually enlarges our bathroom as well. So your stateroom actually becomes your open air balcony. When it comes to Avalon Waterways, we spoke about choice when it comes to our choice touring as well. And Avalon Waterways is all about choice. We have our classic, discovery, and our active. Our classic is our must-see site. And we also have our discovery, more engaging experiences, learning to paint a Monet or Van Gogh, a cooking class in Vienna, for example, learning to make schnitzel with potato salad and strudel all at the same time, enjoying wine. We also have our active excursions, and those are, jogging tours through Vienna, Amsterdam, canoeing down on the Danube, paddling on the Rhine, again, hiking tours. You always have a choice. And again, it comes just back to the choice touring as well that we spoke about a little bit earlier, is that you can be on the exact same itinerary and have a completely different experience with your neighbor, your spouse, your friend there. And it's the little things that Avalon Waterways has. We have the L'Occitane product. We have our Lavazza coffee station, fresh baked cookies daily. And the coffee is cappuccino, espresso, mochaccino. And then we also have our pillow option as well. And we have 2 USBs put in each stateroom. So again, it also allows you to charge certain things as well as having USB charging as well. When it comes to Avalon Waterways, it's really about our time and our venue. And the time is we have open seating at dinner from 7 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. And again, if you're anything like me and enjoy French fries at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can go off and you can enjoy dinner at 8:30 in the evening. So again, it's not one seating, it is open seating. And again, it's from 7 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. This is our main dining room here. This is where you'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as a few other choices I'll show you in the next couple of slides. Now, when it comes to, I just want to mention with lunch and dinner, we have unlimited beer and wine, and it's regional wines. It's not house wines. My husband and I fell in love with a bottle, Cotoron, and it's $22 at the LCBO. So again, it's regional wines. And when it comes to Avalon Waterways as well, is that when it comes to dinner, you'll have a choice of a soup, a salad, a main meal, and a dessert. Your main meal, you'll have a choice of a red meat, a chicken, a vegetarian, or a fish. And if you'd like, you can enjoy all. So this is where I'm going to take you on a day in a life with Avalon Waterways. So in the morning, you're going to wake up and you're going to have breakfast. And then you're going to go off and you're going to have that morning city tour that is included, that classic, that discovery, or that active excursion. Then you're going to come back and you're going to have lunch. And then the afternoon, you have lunch here, or you can have lunch in our Sky Grill, which I'll show you in the next 2 slides. And then you're going to have the afternoon leisure, and then you can come down and enjoy dinner here as well. This is our Panorama Bistro, and this is hot plates. So exactly what you're getting downstairs, you actually can enjoy the same thing up here. Maybe you want to go into town, maybe you want to enjoy going to your stateroom, you just want to relax, put your feet up, have that cup of tea or that coffee, fresh baked cookie. We have over 100 complimentary movies. But again, whatever you're having downstairs, you can also have it up here. It's just more hot plates versus being fully served with the main by the courses. And then this is our Sky Grill, and this is where we're going to have lunch depending on season and weather. And just to let you know here, you have your burgers, your steak, salads, all at the time, enjoying the view outside as well. Just speaking about our Sky Grill as well, we also have a port talk about an hour before dinner, which is from our cruise directors, and they actually during that time they will present. You can either sit on our panorama lounge or you can be upstairs in our Sky Grill. As well as, I just wanted to let you know that you also get happy hour during that hour before dinner during the port talk, and those are 50% off drinks. You also have a choice of a picnic lunch, and here is, you can ask our maitre d' or chef to put something together, and you can enjoy a picnic lunch off board as well. 2022, you have to remember, with all brands that we've been speaking about today, when we speak about Spain and Portugal, speaking about Avalon Waterways, you know, as I said, we haven't traveled in 20 months. And you have to remember, there was a lot of tours and a lot of cruises that were canceled in 20 and 2021 at the beginning of the year. And for those passengers, they have now transferred their booking until 2022. As well as 68% of it is new business. So business is starting to pick up, which we're very happy. We're starting to see passengers are ready to travel again, ready to explore. Now, saying that, so I just want to share with you that, you know, think about it, think about traveling. But again, just remember that there's limited space on some destinations as well. Now, speaking about 2022 is, hopefully you've heard of Floriade in Amsterdam. This is from April the 14th to October the 9th. With Avalon Waterways, we have 3 itineraries that are included. We have 7 itineraries that have an optional excursion, and 1 Globus tour, Holland, Luxembourg, and Belgium, that is also including the Floriade extension. With Avalon Waterways, we also have an adventure center, our Avalon Adventure Host, and our apps. Our Avalon Adventure Center is there for you to sign out Nordic walking sticks, Fitbits, bicycles, helmets to go with the bicycles, picnic blankets to go with your picnic lunch. Again, this is all complimentary for you to sign out. Then we also have our Avalon Adventure Host. He or she is there to guide you with a fitness, whether it's yoga or Zumba. Maybe you want to go off a bike ride. He or she will, you know, put something together for you, tell you where to go to get a cafe, anything like that. So again, they're absolutely wonderful, and they're full of energy and ready to share as much as they can with you. And then, of course, we also have our Avalon Go apps, which I'm going to go through in the next little slides as well. I also wanted to share that when traveling with Avalon Waterways, we have direct embarkation in Europe only, that we take you directly to the ship. Your staterooms may not be available until 4 p.m., but at least you can go in, you can put your luggage down, walk around, have something to eat, something to drink. You almost feel refreshed when you're at your destination. One other feature I want to speak about with Avalon Waterways is that our innovative design is that we are a 3.5 deck versus all other river cruise lines that are 4 decks. So when I say that, you know, when it comes to the 3.5 deck, you have to remember that I mentioned the ships are built all the same, but they're built for the bridges and the locks. And, you know, when it comes to bridges, depending on which itinerary you are, there is everything gets collapsed at the top. Even the captain's quarters. We are a 3.5 deck that actually allows you to still sit outside when we're going under those bridges. And of course, we also go further, and you know, it's that bucket list. Are you ready to fill that bucket list now? And of course, with going beyond Europe, we have our Taste of Egypt, and this is 2 nights in Petra, and starting in Luxembourg and going all the way to Petra with 4-night cruise. You can also add a Jordan extension as well on this itinerary. We also have our Colorful India and the Ganges. This is 13 days Delhi to Kolkata, and you start in 2 nights in Delhi, 2 nights in Agra, 2 nights in Jaipur. You're going to fly down to Kolkata and sail down the Ganges River for 6 nights. When we stay at these destinations hotel-wise, as I mentioned earlier, when we first started the presentation, we are a Globus Family of Brands. So when it comes to our Avalon River cruising as well, the hotels are superior first-class products, centrally located hotels as well. We also have our fascinating Vietnam and Cambodia and the Mekong. This is our ship. We have 19 staterooms on board, 36 passengers. Our staterooms are 245 square foot staterooms. Again, bed facing the view, really letting the outside in. And again, starting in Siem Reap for 3 nights and ending in Ho Chi Minh City for 2 nights and sailing down the Mekong River for 7 nights. And again, you can also add an extension. You have 6 choices to add an extension on this itinerary as well. We also have from the Inca Empire to the Peruvian Amazon. This is 11 days Lima to Lima starting. And again, you're going to Pisac, Sacred Valley, Machu Picchu, Cusco, just to name a few, and absolutely beautiful itinerary. Again, we're finding that a lot more passengers are really starting to travel to the more exotic destinations. My bucket list, Ecuador and its Galapagos Islands. This is 8-day cruise, Quito to Quito. Again, absolutely wonderful itinerary there as well. You know, and what to expect when traveling with us. I mentioned, you know, number 1 priority is always the health and safety of our passengers. So, of course, fellow travelers, they have to fill out a pre-trip health screening, of course, as well as you do. There's continuous touchless temperature checks every time you get on board, as well as every time you get on the coach in the morning. There's temperature checks. Of course, we're reducing touch points in travel, and one of those is our Go apps, which I'll go through in the next couple of slides again. And of course, we're ensuring social distancing. We've been in the business for 92 years. We have that VIP access. And of course, we're enhancing cleaning and disinfecting on tour, as well as on board as well. Just to let you know that all luggage is being sanitized prior to going on board, as well as going on the coach, off the coach, into the hotel and back onto the coach. So always being clean and disinfected as well. I also wanted to let you know that we are pre-screening, and the requirements there is that we are asking all passengers to be fully vaccinated at least 14 days prior to travel. I know one of the questions you are going to ask is, what about mixed vaccines? The Globus Family of Brands are allowing mixed vaccines. That's not an issue, but we ask you to speak to the cruise Expedia cruise advisors, of course, to check with the destination as well. And the great thing as well is that Globus Family of Brands is taking care, arranging and paying for all testing to return home. So for example, on Avalon Waterways, we'll have somebody come on Avalon Waterways. I believe it's 72 hours prior, and you will get your test done, and we are arranging and paying for it for you to return home. And the same thing when traveling on tours with us as well. We will pay and arrange it. So again, we have our enhanced on-board protocols and procedures. You know, on board passengers are wearing masks. Where you know our staff has to be all vaccinated, as well as health. They have to go through testing as well. We need to make sure they go through their temperature checks. They have to have regular distancing as well, and to go through a medical certificate to allow them on board and on our tours as well as the cleanliness commitment to our ships. We have sanitization soon as you get on board with the coaches. We have sanitizations throughout the whole ship. And as well as each ship is being disinfected, you know, constantly throughout the ship. But also I wanted to mention 2 things when it comes to Avalon Waterways is, number 1 is that prior to the next destination for the next passengers to come on, even the soft material is being cleaned, the curtains, the couches, the carpet, you know, everything is being sanitized, as well as I just wanted to mention, there was something else I was going to mention, as well as, I'll get back to you on that one. But again, you know, our commitment is to the cleanliness ships. Oh, I knew that was going to come to me, is that, you remember I said we're really letting the outside in, is that when it comes to, we don't circulate the air within the ships. It's only fresh air going in and out as well. So if you'd like more information on this, again, you can always go on www.globusjourneys.ca, click on trip planning, and then click on the drop menu and choose health and safety. And then, of course, we also have our guest check-in as well. And this offers carefree confidence. We have enhanced guest experiences for you and your travel agent from the time that you book until the time you return home. If there's any protocols, if there's any changes, you and your travel advisor will be advised. So again, we improve our communication to keep you informed with any alerts, country updates. That is something that we have as well for you. So what we have is our Go apps. About 30 days prior, you can download these apps, and we have them with Globus, Cosmos, Monograms, and Avalon Waterways. It's an augmented navigation system, which means you do not need Wi-Fi to download these apps or use them. So for example, we have easy navigation through these streets with our GPS directions. So for example, if you're on our Avalon cruise or in Portugal and a hotel and you're looking for a restaurant, a theater, a museum, shopping, cafes, you just click on a little tab and it'll show you, and then you can pick the museum or the theater or the cafe. And then it's like Google Maps. It'll take you right to the destination and bring you right back to your hotel as well as your cruise. We have a day-by-day itinerary on here. Your e-documents are available on here as well. You can pen it, snap it, and post it. You can update with posts. You can add pictures, add journals. We have a currency converter on here, a calculator. I mean, everything is on this app. It's absolutely amazing. Another feature that we have is a personal whisper for excursions when you're with the tour guides and the tour directors. And these are Mercedes whispers. And what they do is they allow you to be 500 meters away from the tour guide or the tour director that is speaking when taking a excursion. So again, that allows you to not be in a crowd. It allows you to be 500 meters away, which is half a kilometer again. And of course, you can use your own earbuds as well. So again, it allows you to walk freely and listen to the local guides during the excursion. Now, when it comes to booking, as I mentioned, we want you to feel confident. We want you to not have stress. We want it to be carefree. And what this is, we have our Peace of Mind travel plan. And this is complimentary for every booking. We are going to include this. And this is a plan that allows you to change your date, destination, or brand in our vast portfolio as long as final payment has not been made. So let's think outside of the box, and yeah, you are traveling with us in February, and all of a sudden you receive that wedding invitation and you say, oh no, that's when I'm going to Portugal or Spain. I'm going on a river cruise. As long as final payment has not been made, you can change your date up until December the 31st, 2023. So again, this is complimentary Peace of Mind travel plan that we are adding to every booking. And of course, when making booking with us, we want to thank you. We'd like to see you again in the future. And we want to make that easy for you as well. So every booking that you make, depending on the cost value, we are going to add a welcome back credit. It's almost like money that you can use towards, it's a letter that you can use towards any travel in any of our brands. We're also offering guaranteed air for our 2022 Europe sailings, and which will allow you to know the cost of your vacation. So again, allows you to plan for your travels. And of course, we have a couple of great promotions going on, as I mentioned. This is our touring promotions. You can save $600 off per couple, save $300 per air credit on air inclusives, save 10% on Globus Europe and North America and South America for 2023, as well as we also are waiving the single supplement on our select 21 and 22 escapes by Globus as well. So if you're ready to take those Portugal escapes tours, then again, we will also waive the single supplement on that. It's a great day to remember. It's Happy Halloween. Book by October the 31st to qualify for any of these promotions. Of course, with our Avalon Waterways as well, I wanted to share the following day after Halloween, as long as you book by November the 1st, we ask that we have a couple of promotions going on there. Fly free from select cities, plus save $1,300 per couple. And that's for 21, 22, and 23 Avalon Europe River cruising. And again, another one is waiving the single supplement. I mean, these are huge promos and absolutely wonderful experience when traveling with the Globus family of brands. Not only do you get those promos, again, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We are offering an additional $200 off per couple on our Globus Europe and North America vacations for 21, 22, and 23. Again, those do need to be booked and deposited by Halloween, October the 31st. And then we also have with Avalon Waterways, you can receive a free prepaid gratuities, again, on 21, 22, and 23 Avalon Europe River cruises. Again, all have to be booked by October the 31st, on top of all the other promotions that I just shared with you as well. So today I ask you to dream, enjoy your evening, go to bed, dream of where you're ready to travel, and tomorrow you do. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I will we can answer any questions if you have. I'm more than happy to do that.
Oh, well, thank you, Hillary.
Thank you, Lisa.
For a wonderful presentation. Globus definitely has so many amazing itineraries, and not just in Europe, but really all over the world. So it's a fantastic opportunity. And Portugal and Spain are just a small taste of what the Globus and Avalon can actually do for your travels. Now, as a reminder, as Hillary just stated, our World Explorer offer with Globus and Avalon are in addition to any current promotions, which are already quite impressive from what we've seen with both products. So until October 31st on Globus, you can receive an additional savings of $200 per couple on select 21, 22, 23 Europe or North American vacations. And with Avalon, you can receive complimentary prepaid gratuities on select Europe river cruises. So if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them. And I know that we actually do have two questions that I've seen. So Hillary, the first one is, how are our luggage being sanitized when putting onto and off of ships?
So what happens is you bring your luggage on and then the staff will ask you to put it to the side, and it's almost like a bottle spray that they're going around and disinfecting it. And then the staff, once it's being disinfected, they are bringing it onto the ship to your stateroom. So you are not bringing the luggage on board. There's actually, when you book with Avalon Waterways, there will actually be a stateroom. So we know your name and your stateroom that your luggage is going to.
Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Vicki. The next question we have is, can you explain the welcome back credit a little more? If you book on Globus, can you use the credit on Avalon?
Yes. So again, it doesn't go by brand, it goes by the cost of your tour. So again, if you're booking with Globus, absolutely. If you're looking at booking, for example, it goes from, I believe it's $150 up to, I believe $275 credit. And again, it goes by the cost of the tour. So yes, you can, if you're booking on Globus, then you can use your credit towards Avalon. If you book on Avalon, you can use it towards Cosmos and vice versa. It's welcome on any of the brands.
Okay, great. One of the questions we have here, what are the specific cities that free air is provided to Avalon River Cruises? What I would suggest is that you speak with your Expedia Cruises consultant, who will be able to verify directly with Avalon to be able to give you all that information. Do you have anything to add to that, Hillary?
No, exactly, Lisa. I would advise everyone to contact their consultant, Expedia Cruise consultant, and check the destinations as well.
Okay, great.
It also depends on the date and the departure.
Right, right. Are there any other questions? I don't see any here right now. Okay, well, before we officially close, for those of you wondering what it's like traveling in the current situation, as Steve mentioned earlier, we do invite you to stay on as we have three of our consultants, Glenn Curtis, Cheryl Walker, and Sue Hawks, to share their recent travel experiences based on the most current restrictive guidelines. And who better to actually explain their experience than those who help you plan your travel. After, both Cheryl and Glenn will be available to answer any questions live that you have posted on the questions board. However, please keep in mind that we will not be answering any questions on vaccinations, as it will differ for each supplier. So we would literally be here all night if we were to tackle that question. And the situation changes on a regular basis. So when you are ready to start planning, your consultant will be in the best position to answer any of those questions at that time. And so for those of you who are leaving us now, we'd really like to thank you all for your attending the session this evening. And your consultant will be in touch with you to discuss our World Explorer offers and any future travel you may have in mind. And don't forget, our next session will be on Thursday at 7 p.m., where Adventure Canada will be introducing you to our Canadian North and polar bears. Thank you and have a great evening. Now, Rob, let's roll the video.
Sorry, Rob, we're not getting the sound.
Thank you for your patience while we just work on the minor little technical difficulty here.
Hey, Glenn, can you turn back on the doorbell thing? You've turned off my sound.
Turned it back on, so an all-inclusive in August in Jamaica, but also to a Disney cruise and Disney World in September. And those experiences, although different, were very similar in the travel experience. I think the key word I would say is pack your patience. You want to make sure that you know all of the protocols that are required for your destination, and you have all of the proper testing done pre-departure, which my first trip was a little overwhelming just because it was unknown. And then my second trip, it was a breeze. So I think that just conquering the fear of the unknown is huge. And that's where, as a travel agent, I'm there to help my clients. And I know your travel agent is there to help you to know what you need to do and to talk through any of the fears that you have in getting back out and traveling. In the airport experience, you are going to definitely need patience. When I went to Jamaica, the international terminal, it was really quite easy to go through security, and it took me half an hour. When I went through the US, to get through US customs and security took over 3 hours. So when they say, you know, to give yourself 3 hours, I would say right now you probably want to give yourself another half hour to an hour. I'm of the mind that it's always better to be sitting at the gate calm than to be anxious outside of the gate, you know, freaking out, wondering where or how, you know, you're going to get through, is the plane going to leave, and all of that kind of stuff. And running to the gate is never fun. So that would be my pre-airport experience. Getting to the destination once you're there, yes, you have maybe a few more hoops to jump, but not hugely different. I found in Jamaica, it was no different. And then once I was in the States, yeah, it really felt the same. The only difference I had was getting onto the cruise was an extra step, in that you had to do like a pre-sail green light, safe passage, PCR test. You had to do your online check-in, which you normally had to do, but you had just a little couple of extra steps in that. So you didn't just get to the port and get on board the ship. You had to take a PCR test. You had to wait, about an hour for the test results before you could go into the terminal and start your cruise. Some cruise lines require that you still wear masks indoors. Mine did. And so I think, one of the biggest things was remembering my mask when I'd walk out of my cabin, because, you're sort of feeling like old time cruising, but then it's like, oh, I forgot my mask. So that was probably my biggest irritation on the whole thing. But that aside, cruising felt great to be back. I felt completely safe. All the adults were vaccinated. There were some kids, because of course it was a Disney cruise, so there were some kids there. But you just keep to your group. You just wash your hands when you're supposed to. We always carried hand sanitizer around with us, so that if we ever felt like we just needed a little wash, we would do it. And it really felt kind of normal. Same with the resort. Indoors we would wear our masks if it was an enclosed area like the gift shop or walking into a restaurant, but then otherwise we were just pretty much unmasked. If we were in a shuttle bus, we would wear our masks. So it wasn't that hard. It's no different than if you want to go out to dinner or a movie or church or whatever here, right? Getting the PCR tests. At the Sandals Resort, it was super easy because they do it for you. And in Disney, it was a little trickier because I had to do the research to figure out where to go for that. And there was also the out-of-pocket cost. But I shopped around and went with what I felt most comfortable with, both price and return time of my test results. And so that was the only major step of coming home, because I had to have that PCR test to get back into Canada. Plus I had to do my ArriveCan app. So I make sure that I have my vaccine records in a hard copy as well as a digital copy, and I've got them easy to access. And then, just fill out the ArriveCan app and then, head to the flight on the day of departure. Coming back into Toronto can be a little iffy in the sense that depending on when your plane arrives, how many other planes have come in, you might have a wait. So again, pack your patience, know in advance that you could be up to 3 hours before you walk out the door with your luggage. And if you know that in advance, then I think that it helps take some of that anxiety and angst away. But other times, one time I was 3 hours, the other time I was an hour. So it really just depends. But it feels so good to be back traveling again. And your travel agent is there to walk you through the whole process, to help calm your fears, to help you walk through the protocols for wherever your destination is. And all I can say is it just feels so good to be back to travel. So that's my story. Hope it helped.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Walker. Recently, I traveled to Bermuda with Viking Ocean on their ship, the Orion, and I wanted to share my experience with you. We required a PCR test to be taken here in Ontario before we traveled to Bermuda, and this was the PCR test, not the antigen. So I had to make an appointment through Life Labs, who in turn made arrangements through Shoppers Drug Mart in order to have the test done. The test took about 24 hours to return to me, to my email, and showing that I was tested negative and I was good to go. Arrival at the airport, I needed to show that negative test along with a travel information that I had received from Bermuda and the Viking ship to show that I had passed through all the tests and provided all the appropriate vaccine certificates in advance. In arrival in Bermuda, however, we were required to take another COVID-19 test on top of everything else for the Bermuda government. And once that was completed, we must quarantine on board the ship until the test came back negative, and then we were free to go about our business, get off the ship, enjoy the shore excursions, etc. That was quite quick. It took only about 4 or 5 hours, and I had the results sent to me by email. Life on board the ship was as like everything that I remembered it to be. So I was quite excited to be back and sailing again. And we were required to wear masks only when we were in internal venues like the theater. But if we were eating and drinking inside the ship, no masks are required. Certainly outside the ship, on near the pool, etc., no masks required. So it was very comfortable without a problem. Viking has its own labs on board the ship, and they asked us to have a test every single morning where we needed to spit within a vial, and that vial tested our to see if we had any COVID from the day before. So very easy, and also provided us with an opportunity to have that test done before we return to Canada, because that is a requirement. The government of Canada requires a PCR test to be done within 72 hours of flying back to Canada. I had that information, and I was able to load up my documents into the ArriveCan app needed by the government of Canada, and I need to show all that information once I arrive back here at the airport in Toronto. Now at Toronto Airport, I do suggest you pack your patience, because everyone, including anyone who has Nexus, must see an immigration official to show them passport, your immigration card, and of course your ArriveCan app to show that you've tested negative. So that was most of the delay, everyone going through there. I hope that's been helpful to you, and I'm on this webinar, so if there's any other questions that come up, I'd love to answer them. Thanks.
Hey everyone, my name is Glenn, and I just got back from an incredible trip on board the Celebrity Summit. As my colleagues have said in the previous videos, there are a few differences with regards to your pre-travel documentation, testing you may have to do before you go, and the key is packing your patience. Plan on delays, plan on giving yourself some extra time to get places, especially at the airport. And one little hint for your face masks, highly recommend going and purchasing the disposable face masks. Having those cloth masks on for 5, 6, 7 hours or longer can get hot and a little bit wet. So if you use the disposable mask, take a number of them with you, change out partway through your travels. You'll feel better, and it's a little bit lighter, so it's not as hot when you're traveling. Really going through the airport, I anticipated having to wait for a while. There was nothing really that jumped out as odd or different. The one thing I will recommend is making sure you have your documentation in hand. Don't put it away. Keep it with you until you're right on the other side of everything, because they will ask for different things along the way. If you put it away, that's part of the delay. So have your documentation in hand ready to go. We got to the ship early. They do our boarding based on times to try and alleviate the crowds. We got there early, and we really were a light sailing. We actually only had 250 guests on board a ship that holds 2,000. So I was actually able to check in early. This was a fully vaccinated sailing, so there was no mask requirements. We did not have to wear our masks anywhere on the ship, indoors, outdoors. It really felt like cruising was before the pandemic, except there were a lot fewer people. We could easily social distance, and everybody kept their space and didn't crowd. So it was a really great experience. Even though there were only 250 on board, they still ran a full ship complement. Everything that they would normally run on a full ship was there. The buffet was open. The only difference is now they have crew serving you as opposed to it being self-serve. The restaurant was open. The all the shows, the trivias, the games, everything was as normal. You wouldn't have known any different. The one thing I did notice was the regular cleaning of common areas. So, crew were going up and down the stairwells, cleaning and sanitizing all of the handrails, washing down all the buttons in the elevator and outside the elevator. You could see that they were making an effort to ensure that their guests were safe. Shore excursions were the only time when we had to get off the ship was we had to wear a mask. And again on the shore excursions while we were in the vehicle or in areas where there was close quarters, we had to wear the masks. Well, if we were outside in an area, then the masks weren't required. They, on the excursion I was on, every time we got on and off the bus, they were there with the hand sanitizer, making sure that we all kept our hands clean. It was very well run, and I felt safe the whole time. PCR test was done on the ship, free of charge for those that were fully vaccinated. And we showed up at 10 o'clock on the last sea day. They give you all the instructions on how to set up your appointment to go down and get it done. Went down, had it done. By 1:30, I had my negative result and was ready to upload everything to my Arrive Can app and ready to go home. Again, getting back to the airport early, check-in, no problem. You had to show your negative test. Again, have your documentation out. And arriving in Canada, once again, pack your patience. The airlines are literally letting 40 to 50 people off the plane at a time because of congestion in Immigration Hall. So they let the first 40 off and then said, sorry, we have to hold. Sit down, relax, you'll get there. And it really makes no difference because you're either going to be waiting on the plane, waiting in Immigration Hall to get through because everybody has to see a customs person, including myself, who has Nexus. It was a little faster going through, but I still had to see a customs officer who had to see all of my documentation. And then because there's so many people in Immigration Hall, the bags aren't coming off the carousel as quickly. So the loading of the bags is a little bit slower. So I was waiting there, or I was waiting in Immigration Hall. Other than that, it was an incredible time, an incredible experience. I would not hesitate to travel now. And if you have any questions, reach out to your travel consultant. They're there to help you on your planning stages, on the documentation requirement, just getting you over the fear of traveling right now. I highly recommend it.
Hi there, my name's Sue, and I
Okay, well, thank you so much to Glenn, Cheryl, and Sue for walking us through their recent experiences. And like they've all said, and one of my favorites is pack your patience. So I believe that we have some time, a little bit of time, if anyone has any questions for Cheryl and Glenn, as they are both actually live on here. So does anyone have any questions? Quiet group. So I'm going to take that to mean that everyone is absolutely ready to travel or start planning your travel, because as we said before, this is the current situations. We are watching it on a regular basis for all of our clients. And as things change, we will make sure that you're advised so that you know what's going on. So if there are no questions, I don't see any here. I would say, no, there's no questions at all. I guess a big final thanks to those of you who stayed with us to the end. And we hope we have been able to allay some of your trepidation in this new yet constantly changing environment. And we're looking forward to working with you in the future. Have a great night, everyone.